everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Golden Sun. So, unfortunately, I'm recording this commentary post-gameplay because this was the same day I recorded Darkest Dungeon, and my mic was muted for that too. So, in our last episode, we went ahead and took on the Mercury Lighthouse, discovered all its secrets, and reactivated the fountain after our wonderful fight. So if you haven't seen that, be sure to go see that. So, we went ahead and got some water from that fountain. We're still up near Imel, and we're going to quickly head back to the village. So, while we're in Imel, we're going to go visit these shops. First off, we're gonna stay in the inn, replenish all our health and PP, and then we're gonna go ahead and go to the shops up top because now that the plague is gone, that has been trying to kill people, we can actually buy weapons and armor. So again, because the Mercury Fountain is active again, and there is water of Hermes flowing, the people don't need Maya anymore, or Mia. So we're able to take her with us on our adventures. So we go ahead and pick up the Blessed Ankh, which has Siphon Seal as its special ability. And I like the Blessed Ankh. Siphon Seal seals an opponent's synergy, which can be very useful on some of those really annoying enemies, such as like the gnomes, gnome wizards, things like that. So we go ahead and check out who needs what. I do decide to replace... Appears this is lagging a little bit. I do decide to replace a little bit of my armor while I'm here. And I don't know why it's freezing so badly. At least on my screen it is. So, the Adept's Clothes we go ahead and give to... Or we try to give to Isaac, but we realize, oh, his stuff's full. So, first off, we're going to sell the armor he has equipped, which is... leather armor. Actually, we'll do that in a minute. We do sell a smoke bomb because, again, I don't really use the smoke and the sleep bomb, stuff like that. I can use synergy for that if I really want to. Things like delude or sleep. So we go ahead and pick up Adept's Clothes, give him, sell his leather armor, and don't do too much more. We pretty much have everything else we're going to be able to get at this point, and we are in a really good position. We're at right around level 13 or so with everybody, which is perfectly fine for where we are in the game. So, we do get rid of the travel robe. That was of no use to us, really. And we go ahead and check and see if there's any other helms or anything we need. But at this point, we don't really need anything else. So we go ahead and leave. And again, I apologize if my commentary is slightly off. For some reason, this is doing a little bit of stop and go on my screen, and I don't understand why while I'm trying to record the post-commentary. But we don't wind up really buying anything from the shop because there are no rarities. I had thought there was a Water of Life here, but I guess not. I need to go back to Imel, apparently, because I didn't notice in my first playthrough that I missed that chest that's up there. I don't think it's anything major. I think it's like a vial, maybe a Psi Crystal, but it's nothing major. I do know that. So we're going to fight a couple of Maulers really quick. No big deal. Drop a couple of attacks, and bam, they go down. Alright, so I went ahead and cut to when I was back in Kolima Forest. Basically, I just fought enemies on the way here and healed up while I was in Bilbin. So, stopped right in front of our friends, Laurel and Tret. And because we activated the Mercury Lighthouse, got the Water of Hermes, which can cure basically any disease and bring people back even from the brink of death, we go ahead and we activate the Hermes water on Tret. The Water of Hermes seeps into Tret, and we notice a change in the color of the forest, so it doesn't have that creepy, kind of darkish glow to it. Now, it's nice and bright again. Much better. So, life flows within me once again. Tret. As you have recovered, so has our forest. I am sorry to have worried you so, Laurel. And you, young ones, didn't you have a favor to ask me? Yeah, make sure people don't die as trees. Yes, Tret, you must turn the people of Kolima into humans again. Yes, that's right. I must hurry. So now when he tried before, it didn't work. But he goes ahead and rocks that awesome, cool, big mind energy wave thing, and bam! That should do it. The people of Kolima are cursed no more. Tret did not always possess this horrible power. It only started when those strange gemstones fell from the sky. Arrgh? Gems from the sky? Do you think he means the Synergy stones? Duh. You really think Synergy stones caused all this trouble? I do. I was indeed angry that people had laid waste to my forest. They had even taken their axes to me. Then, I believe he felt some horrible fury overwhelm him, and he was lost in anger. Again, this is kind of stop and go for me right now. I don't know why, so I'm doing the best I can here. Our actions spoke our heart's desires, but we had no idea. Those gems twisted my anger into a force beyond my control. So, anger. Have any of those saplings been transformed by the stones, Tret? He will check. No, only the elder trees were affected by the falling Synergy stones. It almost looked like he rolled his eyes at her. Huh. Like, has anything happened? Ugh. No. You must have fought many monsters on your way here. Those monsters, maybe they were just animals that were... Once they were pure of heart. Those gems have brought a great evil to the world. So see, not everyone is as excited about Synergy as Saturos, Minardi, Felix, and all of them. To some, this is the start of great devastation. Oh, Laurel, were you given powers too? Different from my own, but stemming from the same source. Laurel, what in the world are you doing? Wait, you will soon see. She's like, Ivan, don't worry about it, bro. She's gonna show you. What did you see, Laurel? It's true, even the animals have become monsters. And beyond the river that feeds our forest? Yes, an evil forest has risen up to the south of the river. Will you be heading south across the river? I suppose so. That area will only grow more dangerous as time passes. If you must go, you'd better hurry. I owe you a great debt. You have saved Kolima, the forest, and me. May your roots dig deep and your branches reach high. And other tree-based analogies. So we're working our way downtown, walking fast, once again. Rat Soldier defends. So I'm going to go ahead and cut until we get back to Kolima. Alright, so we make it back to Bilibin, and we head up to McCoy's castle, whereupon... Oh, it's... Oh, sir! The Curse of the Holy Tree. You're the ones who broke it, right? Yeah! You're under arrest. The hell? Let's go. Lord McCoy is waiting. There's that Scottish jerk right now. So, you're the brave lads I met before. Yep, and we have a new person with us. What were your names again? He's Isaac, sir, and I'm Garrett. I am called Ivan. And I'm Maya from the village of Imel, who you didn't meet before. Isaac and company. Garrett's like, we have names. And did I not decline your offer when we first met? I did not give it enough consideration back then. See, I can't do the Scottish. I don't know. Never been able to do Scottish really well. And yet you went on to break the curse despite my words, did you not? I humbly thank you. I was but worried you might not stop here on your way back. I want to show my appreciation for your help. I relied on my money, but I forgot about my people's needs. You reminded me of my duties. Sound like Mike Myers trying to be Shrek. As Lord of these lands, I will do my best on everyone's behalf. Isaac, it would honor me greatly if you'd accept a wee token of my gratitude. I could give it to you here, but would you rather not choose it yourself? Very well, you can choose something that'll help you along the way. So, the guard's going to take us down, and we're going to have a choice between 4 different items. However, the best item available is Water of Life. The other ones are a Psi Crystal, a Vial, and a Potion. Each one incredibly useful, but Water of Life costs the most and is the most beneficial considering we can heal ourselves, but don't have many ways of reviving. So, as soon as I remember on this which one is which, I will be back. Alright, so in the far right corner is the chest with the water of life, which is exactly what we want. So, with that in mind, we know that each one of those doesn't have what we want, and we grab ourselves the water of life. You are always welcome in the palace of Lord McCoy. Well, thank you. I would hope so. So now that we've done just about everything there is to do in the town of Bilibin, as well as the town of Kolima, it appears we have to venture forth once more in search of adventure. There's the guy that was originally a tree. He is a tree no longer. Also, as we pass through the Bilibin blockade, we notice there are two people here. If you paid attention way back when we were crossing here the first time, you'd notice there were 3 trees. If you talk to those two, you'll find out that the person that was standing on their shoulders, because they were standing on all of each other's shoulders, actually wound up drowning. So, that's unfortunate. So we're all healed up. Pretty much nothing else we have to do in the town of Kolima, so we decide to go onward. And we explore an area we haven't been to yet. Now, if you came over here before returning the forest to normal, you would not be able to cross, because this bridge here is guarded by someone who's heard terrible things happening on our side of the river. But luckily, now that we've taken care of all the important plot points, we are able to cross. And in doing so, we find ourselves nearer to a strange-looking place. That should be appearing right now. It looks somewhat tropical, with possibly some Tibetan influence. It seems very monkish. How did you get here? Is the bridge open again? Really? Then I can go home to Kolima now? I thought I'd never go home with the cursed forest and all. Yep, make your way back home. So apparently in the oldest scrolls of this temple, they describe things that are happening now as going to happen. Nyanpa has not eaten in days. He's going to waste away to nothing. Aw, poor Nyanpa. I wonder if he's a cool dude. Or if there's anything special about him at all. Isn't it noble of him to try to save the world by becoming enlightened? Sure. However, I really do not want to see Nyanpa waste away. So we head inside and we meet Nyanpa, who, upon talking to him, is pretty silent. I wonder what we can do to try to communicate with him. Perhaps reading his thoughts and his mind. Who is that? Who speaks to my mind? But how did he know? Young master, was that your voice I heard in my mind just now? I knew it. You follow them, do you not? Yes, we do. I knew it. But you must go through Mogall Forest, the endless woods. The forest itself is a mystery, and its paths even more so. No ordinary man can pass from one side to the other. But perhaps I could, young master. If you can endure the trials in the waterfall grotto, I will tell you. Will you take the test? Well, it seems like we have no choice, so yes, we're going to take the test. And with that, we notice a strange color and some strange sound waves. Do not worry, you will be permitted to enter the grotto. Go now, Isaac. Just remember, you are not the only one who can read minds. So, while we were reading his mind, he was reading ours as well. Well played, Nyanpa, you Jupiter Synergy adept, you. And indeed, that is something that will happen throughout this game, as we will meet others with strange powers, much like our own, who are actually adepts. So, we enter Fuchin Falls Cave in the town of Fuchin / the Fuchin Temple, and the dragon's flame will illuminate the path in darkness. So, it's important for us to keep that in mind. Here we are going to find ourselves a nice mimic that is a little bit stronger than the last one we fought. So we're going to use our Jin to help set us up, starting out, by lowering his attack, raising our resistance, raising our defense for a turn with Granite. So our resistance goes up well. Mimic casts Side Drain. Luckily spends a lot of his time in this battle just using things like Side Drain, Debilitate. And we're of course going to try and wrap him in Delusion. Doesn't work, but we still deal nice damage. And now we go ahead and go in with all the other Jinn. Fizz. So Gus gets the double attack, 57 damage. Flint going to come in, 67 damage. Mimic casts Sleep, which is unfortunate, but Ivan falls asleep and he had already acted, so that worked out decently for us. And now we have all our Jinn ready to summon. So at this point, unleash hell! Ramsey's dealing nice damage. Once again, the Mimic going for Side Drain, which is absolutely pointless. Narrate dealing great damage. And Chiron going to come in. Deal some big old damage. And mops up the Mimic. So, Garrett learns Fireball when he turns level 14. And for defeating this Mimic, we get a game ticket. Not the greatest prize we could get, but we'll take it. So you'll notice there's a log on our left side as well. We aren't able to reach that yet, but that will be important in the future. For now, we have to use what we can get. So we have paths to the left, right, and middle. We'll go ahead and go to the right first. Can't do anything there. And we decide to go to the left instead, because the middle path will take us basically nowhere. So when we go up the left, we see where the middle path would have taken us. And it would have just led us straight into a room full of spikes. So nothing really to do in here except go in. We see a chest over to our left. One that I hopefully went back and got. Did I not get that? Well, that could be an issue. Huh. Again, it's always interesting to do this commentary post-game because I get to see things that I otherwise missed. And I think I actually missed a piece of equipment, too. Huh. I might have to go back and do that after this episode goes up. So we see another Jupiter Jinn. However, we can't reach him at this exact second. So instead, we have to move that log back one so that we can reach over here. And now, I decide, after unsetting all of them, that, you know what, we'll just go ahead and do what we normally do. We'll make Granite available so that he can reduce damage, but then we're going to go ahead and attack. So this Jupiter Jinn is actually much stronger than some of the other ones we have fought, so it is imperative that we reduce as much damage as possible. Meaning it probably would have been good to also have left Breeze unused as well so that he could raise our resistance. But I figured at the time, damage is probably better. And as you can see, Flash Bolt, even with Granite, does 17 and 23 damage, so quite considerable, considering we do have defenses in place. So we get off a round of 3 summons. And now Isaac can summon Ramses, and we go ahead and use our best Synergy on the Jupiter Jinn. And we'll get to preview Fireball, which is, of course, Garrett's new Synergy. Ramsey's going to deal great damage. Crush. And sadly, we don't get to see his Synergy yet because we fell him with Ramses. And he is now ours. I believe this is Zephyr. Yep, there he is. So we could gain Astral Blast or Gaia, both of which are cool abilities on Isaac, and ones that I do occasionally use with him. Astral Blast is essentially like the Jupiter version of Volcano. Single target attack that deals some good damage, and it's really cool looking. It sends shooting stars at them. So we head back up now. Meanwhile, I'm sitting over here kicking myself mentally because I forgot to go grab that chest. Again, I'm pretty sure that was a piece of equipment. So luckily the puzzles in the Fuchin Falls cave are not that difficult. Some simple log puzzles. And just winding our way around. So now that we've moved that there, we can reach that log. And we get an important piece of our puzzle, which is the dragon's eye. So with that in mind, we head back up. And now we find ourselves on the other side, where there's a great dragon who seems to be missing an eye. So putting 2 and 2 together, we use the dragon's eye on the statue. And the dragon's flame illuminates the darkness, and we can see a rough outline of a path. Now, that's slightly misleading. The path is actually raised up off the ground a little bit, so it's important that you don't walk directly on the path, otherwise you will fall down and get hurt by the spikes. So we're easily going to take on this, what is it, bone soldier or bone something jerk? I don't know. Bone fighter, there he is. Either way, he's a jerk. And 2 Jinn are enough to take him down. So now we head back down. And realize there's something else to do down there. So we take that log across that we previously couldn't reach and end up back on the side. Rays of light give birth to shadow, leading the way. So we can't do anything really from down here, so we have to go back up to the left side. And again, I will go back and check what that item inside of the cave is, because I'm sad that I missed that treasure chest. Must not have been paying attention at the time. Because again, I was doing commentary while I was actually playing, so most likely I just didn't think of it afterwards. So, as you can see, the path is slightly above what's listed there, and we're able to make it safely. Again, I think that was a little misleading on the designer's part, but what can you do? We go forward, we hop across. The secret of Kai shall be revealed to the disciples of truth. Kai is, of course, just a word that some of these monks use for synergy. And we get the Orb of Force. So, Force is going to be our new synergy, and it is absolutely crucial to use in order to make your way through the Mogall Forest, which is the cursed forest we have to go through to get to the town of Xi'an. So we equip Force on Ivan, and here you can see it's a cool looking, bam, psychically thrown punch. So we make our way out of the cave, hop on down, walk in between the spikes. And the reason why that path is there is because it's a nice, easy way out. And despite getting a little lost there, make our way back to the side with the log. And we proceed to exit the cave. Upon which, we are greeted by this monk, who's like, "Young master, did you complete the test?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Why, you have mastered the secrets of Fuchin Temple." "Yes, I have." "Master Nyunpa is waiting for you. Proceed to the temple." I'll proceed to the temple if I want. Just so happens that I want to. So I decide at this point, let's go ahead and quickly heal up. Because luckily there is a nice synergy stone right up here. And then we go meet up again with Nyunpa. "Excellent, Isaac. I'm glad to see you master the secrets of Fuchin Temple. We monks call the power you have obtained Kai. You seem confused, Isaac." "This is called force by the Western world, but it is really spiritual power. I will teach you as I promised. Use this power to go through the forest." Gee, what a great explanation, huh? "What would happen if you let loose this energy in the forest?" "Ah, you are curious, no?" "Duh. Monsters that wait in hiding would show themselves. You would then try to defeat them, would you not?" Doesn't matter what you answer here, but if you answer yes, sometimes you must let go of your belief that fighting solves problems. Monsters are cowardly. They will run once they know you can see them. They are creatures of the woods, so they do not get lost there. Meaning, hint, hint, you should follow them. Now that I've passed my knowledge of Kylong, I am without worries. Farewell, Isaac. Take care of yourself. So with that, we make our way out of the Fuchin Temple, head down the spiraling path, and decide to take on the Mogall Forest, waiting eerily below. And as soon as we enter, we see a Mogall. So at this point, I checked quickly to see whether or not I had time, so I had made a quick cut there, but luckily I figured I could fit it into this episode. So we're going to see what happens when you use Force on the tree, not from this hit, but from the one where I get closer. And you'll know it works when the fist automatically redirects to the tree. So we saw the ape go down. Now if we try to go to the right, we'll find that we end up in this just tangle of forest. And now we're right back at the entrance. So that's why it's important to have Force and to use it on the trees and follow the apes. I realize here that it wouldn't be coming back again, because they show you the correct path through the otherwise endless forest. Again, it's not that hard. You could figure it out simply through trial and error, but it makes it much easier, and Force does prove useful later on in the game. So it's important that you do go to Fuchin Temple first and unlock that, as well as grab the item that I, for some reason, left in a chest there. So a couple of dirges. Nothing major. We summoned some low-level summons in the hopes that they'd take them out. Doesn't do it immediately. So a nice fireball. Well, bam! Does the job. And Ivan learns Storm Ray when he turns level 14, and we pick up a nut. Always a good item. So here we see another tree trunk. I try to reach it from here. Sadly, it is too far. So instead, I figure why not try this tree? However, what we'll learn in the forest is that not all trees have those green monkeys that you can follow. Some have yellow monkeys, or apes, which will actually attack you. So it's kind of the game's way of saying, you better be sure about whether or not you want to fight or where you want to go, because otherwise, you're going to take on some enemies. Luckily, these apes are not the least bit threatening to me, because our party is great in terms of the damage and equipment that they have. Plus, Sleet lowering his attack by 32 helps us out a considerable amount. And with another round of attacks, we see Siphon Seal activate. And we pick up a vial for taking out that ape. So, not really trouble at all. And again, vial's great because they heal 500 health. So, especially later in the game, they become great items. Don't waste them early on. Instead, I go with some herbs, because I don't feel like wasting Synergy healing. So we have to move that log to move forward. And then I noticed that sweet, sweet nut hanging from the tree. So it takes me a couple of tries to get this, sadly. The positioning on it is incredibly weird. And I decide maybe it's on the other side that I can get it. So I push this across because we have to go that way anyway. And I'm like, alright, gotcha now. And fail. So I go back and say, you know what, maybe it could have been there. Maybe it was the spot next to it. And at that point, wha-bam, nut acquired. And a nice fight for my trouble. So some moles are not really a problem to us. Not that threatening in the least. We're of course going to cast Fireball. Zephyr is a great Djinn because it raises your agility, meaning that you can act a lot quicker, and especially against sometimes like bosses or in difficult fights, that can be incredibly useful to have that advantage on your enemy. So Fizz fully restores Isaac's HP, and Garrett's Fireball surprisingly doesn't kill the mole in the middle. I'm starting with the mole in the middle. I'm asking him to please die. No message could have been any clearer. Alright, Michael Jackson references aside. We use Breeze to raise our resistance just because now that we have our third Jupiter Djinn, we have access to the third level summon, which you will see eventually, because I do use it in this episode. But now that we're close enough to the tree, we can use Force and find out the correct path to take, which is to the right. Now if we go north, we'll see it's the same thing over and over. So, heading back down, we decide to go to the right instead. And the reason I was actually testing some of these paths out, I wasn't sure whether or not the item that you can get in here was on a path that wasn't shown or that wasn't told to be followed by the monkeys, but I find out later that that is not the case. So, here we will get to witness Procne, the level 3 Jupiter summon. Isn't it majestic? And he's all like, pshaw, 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 and huge damage. 169 to the one in the middle. So we can see our wind power rises by 60, meaning that when we use that later on, it's going to be very, very helpful, especially in boss fights, to deal some huge damage. Mia becomes a level 14 Water Seer, and we pick up another 200 coins, adding to our already considerable totals. So with this, we see one of the monkeys go down, and another monkey go right. So we're going to follow the right one first, which leads us to an item, which is an apple. And I'm once again going to hoard this because apples, not healing items, but are instead stat boosting items that, in this case, boost attack. So I still have the mint and the apple, which I'll do something with later probably. But we have 3 bone fighters, and I decide at this point, you know what? Let's use Mars up, deal some good damage, and the narrate should be enough to finish them off. So solid damage to the sides. Undead Sword is a big attack and deals 45 damage. But narrate luckily should take out the 2 on the sides. And it does. And then Mars weakens the Bone Fighter, doesn't take him out, but luckily we're quick, so we have time to go ahead and attack. And Ivan takes him down with a crit. So at this point we heal up because, again, why not? Make sure everyone's set, not on standby. And we make our way further down. And we go ahead and use our Djinn to attack the Spirit and the Bone Fighter. And it's more than enough to take him down. So 100 experience, 130 coins or gold. And we see something that's important for later puzzles as well. So those little holes are where the rocks go. And we need to push those forward to allow us to move forward. So here, another quick log puzzle. Again, most of them aren't that complicated. Some of the puzzles later get complicated, not in this dungeon, mind you, or this section of the map, but later on in the game they actually do get somewhat difficult. Luckily nothing too bad. So here we see our third Venus Djinn, and we get everyone ready to fight. Quickly heal up some people, and we take them on because it is fighting time. So Granite's going to help us defend, and then we'll of course use Chiron, Procne, and Narade. And Procny going to deal nice damage. Look at that. Boom, boom. 213 damage to the Venus Djinn. Alright, Chiron does some damage, and our summons are enough to fell the Venus Djinn, meaning we now have, I believe this is Quartz, the Venus Djinn. Yep, and Quartz gives us a power we haven't had, which is to revive a downed ally. So, since we still do not know the revive spell on any characters, Quartz will be incredibly useful if we get into any situations that we can't seem to handle on our own, or that seem a little too tough for us. So, the reason you had to come to the right and do all that was so that you get the ape to jump from one to another. And now that he's in this one, as soon as we get this fight out of the way, we'll get to see which path to take next. So we attack the left and the right, one in the middle, and then Tundra to everyone, which should hopefully kill. Bam. So both the spirits go down pretty easily. And the Bone Fighter's still standing, sadly, but quick round of attacks are more than enough to take him down. So 149 experience, 197 coins. Go ahead and set all of them. Use some herbs quickly to put everyone back to max health. Again, just making sure everyone stays nice and healthy throughout this forest. And here comes the force. So as you can see, it veered slightly to the left to make sure it hit the exact spot on the tree it needed to. If for some reason you don't see your fist slightly change course at some point to perfectly lock on to a certain point, you might either be too far away or there might be just nothing in that tree. So here we encounter an angry ape. We're going to cast Granite in order to strengthen us a little bit, and then unleash Hell with some Djinn. Ivan's going to unleash Gust. Sadly, it's only 47. He only got the single hit. I never did learn what causes Gust to either activate once or twice. If it activates twice, it deals more damage. So you'll see him hit twice, versus just now he only hit once. But I don't know how to make him do that. But it's never really been a problem. I've never had a problem beating the game with Gust attacking once or twice. And Flint comes in and takes the ape down, so was hoping we would have gotten an item for that, but we didn't, sadly. And everyone's back where they need to be, so monkey number one, or ape number one, gonna go off to the left. Ape number two, gonna go down, down, baby. So we go to the left first because I happen to know that it is the way to go to get some equipment. And if my memory serves correctly from when I recorded this several days back, I believe this is an elven shirt, which is an incredibly useful item at this stage of the game. And again, I did like the item and equipment variety in this game. That's one of the reasons I've always loved Golden Sun, is the fact I felt that it was very well-rounded in terms of the customization options for both Djinn, magic, and party equipment. Allowed you to tailor your character somewhat towards you, which for, early 2000s, possibly even, was it early 2000s? I think it was early 2000s for this game. Was still pretty good. Alright, so Bone Fighter 3, still living. Not for long. He's down. And I almost forgot to open the chest up, but we do see the Elven Shirt, which is very useful because it increases agility. So we equip that on Garrett, whose agility is usually abysmal, as he always acts last, and it boosts him from 39 to 58. And we go ahead and give the Synergy armor to Isaac, who has the basic Adept's clothes equipped. And so he gets the boost of Synergy from the Synergy armor, as well as 4 more defense, which can be very helpful. So with that, we're ready to head down and try to finish up this dungeon. So a couple of moles and a dirge. Nothing new for us. For some reason, I had a hard time figuring out what I wanted to do here. Probably could have just used those 3 Jinn with my first characters and then had Mia cast something, but didn't feel like it. So we summon Jupiter, summon Mars. They're going to get their attacks off, which are going to do very little. Managed to kill one of the moles. And now this turn we go ahead and finish it up. We do decide to cure ourselves, apparently. Nope, we go ahead and attack. Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to kick my past self in the butt for wasting time in there. So Isaac's now level 15 Squire, meaning that most of our party is level 14, with Isaac leading the way as level 15. And as we get closer to the bottom here, I know we are nearing the end of our life. No, of this dungeon. So we're going to do what we learned earlier. We're going to move that rock out of the way. Doing so will allow us to reach this tree. For some reason that doesn't work. I don't know why. So instead I decide to cross, and now I realize I just was a little bit too far away. And with that, we managed to push it down. And I realize here we have a slightly more complex, but not really more difficult, just more time-consuming log puzzle. Once again, we are pestered with our nasty mole problem. So, beautiful 106 damage from Isaac, 101 damage from Garrett, and that one actually gets the special activation, gives us more experience. Things to note. If you do defeat an enemy with Synergy they're weak to, you get extra experience. So, if at all possible, it is a smart move to try to defeat enemies with Synergy they are weak against. Or that they are is opposite of their typing. So, 3 paths. We'll see which one's right for us. It looks like it's the bottom. So as we head down, we take on a single Death Head who thinks it is a match for us. It is not. And in one round of attacks, it goes down. The extra agility helping out Garrett a lot. And we see just a single tree. And in-game, it actually shook the screen a little bit, and you heard like a noise. So we decided to set everyone except Granite. And at this point, I tried to cast Force on the tree. And I was like, why isn't this working? For a minute, I thought it had, and then it was just this random battle, which I knew was not right. So, one of the few times you'll see me flee, I just didn't want to deal with them. And I remembered then, after trying Force once again on the tree, that, you know what? Just go down. And as soon as you try to leave, the screen will shake again. And then, finally, after a few more shakes, you'll have your boss fight. The Killer Ape, this big blue ape who is the boss of the forest. So, we're going to cast Granite, obviously. And then we're going to let her rip with our appropriate elemental summons. So, Nereid, Procne, and Chiron are about to come in this turn. And there's Douse, which deals not a lot of damage, but a little bit. Procne, of course, dealing big damage, 188, raising our wind power by 60. Chiron going to come in. Garrett is now faster than Mia, by the way, which is important that we take note of. And Nereid going to finally come in. and deal really, really big damage. Raising our water power by 30. So now that we've used all our Venus Djinn, we can summon the Great Mother of the Earth, which is Sybil. And we decide, you know what? Strongest energy we got. So, Storm Ray, Fireball, Tundra. Debilitate, not really doing anything, just drops our defense slightly. Whereas we lay in with our attacks. And here you can see Sybil almost looks like a Venus Djinn, which I always thought was funny. Like an old, hairy Venus Djinn. 245 damage, of course, is massive. 101 damage for the Fireball. And Tundra doing a great job. So, another round or two, we should hopefully have this bad boy down. We start to get some of our Djinns set back to us again. In the meantime, we're going to use Ragnarok, the mighty sword. Fever's going to wrap him in Delusion. Gust's going to deal some good damage. And Sleet will lower his attack. So once again, he debilitates, which is surprising that he's not trying to attack and kill us. But luckily, all it takes is one more shot from Gust and he's down. So Garrett is level 15. We get 1,500 coins and the Douse drop. So you saw the Killer Ape use Douse, a magical attack. But Douse is actually an important ability for us. It will be useful throughout the game. So we take the Douse drop and we equip it on Mia, who can now cast Douse, in addition to Frost, outside of battle or inside of battle. And as we head to the north, having finally conquered the Killer Forest, we find Xian. But for now, that is it for this episode. We took on a lot, and in our next episode, we're going to take Xian and hopefully Alton on as well. If you're enjoying Golden Sun, do be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more. But for now, this is Bowtie SoFly saying have a great day and stay fly.